Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if anybody comes in here. Wanted to go on here tonight and talk just a minute about time change. I don't want to come off as grouchy, but I don't like the time change. Hmm. Did you guys figure out your problems you was having about not being able to get sound? I don't know what it was, but sure wasn't working. My computer, my desktop computer, will cut the sound off on videos I'm watching if it wants me to shut it down and then restart it. I shut it down and restart it, and everything works up just fine. Hey, hi guys, how are you, Rebecca? Glad you're in here. Uh, Anita's been working on Tina's cups. Hi, Miss Christine, how are you? I just wondered if somebody could come in here and tell me in the chat, like is it 8:53 or 7:53? I got no idea. Well, I have a lot of fun with this time change thing twice a year at church. I tell people I don't even got no idea. Yeah, sure it is. What time's that going to be if you went to bed right now, what time would it be? Oh yeah, it's 9:53. No, it's not. I had somebody tell me that, yeah, go for it, Christine. You got it. I had somebody tell me once that if you wait till midnight and you're falling back an hour, then it's 11. And so what do you do when it gets to be midnight again? I don't know. That's hard stuff there. But at least I've got an extra hour tonight to convince Anita to try to trim all of this down to where this is at. And maybe I won't look so funny like an old man or something. Yeah, mine says 8:54 too, and I know on computers and cell phones for the most part, you don't have to change the time. It'll do that for you. But when we do that spring forward thing in the spring, I always set mine for an hour earlier to get up to make sure that it actually changed. Mhm. I don't know. Eric put a post on Facebook that if you're going to talk about the other day, talk about the other day instead of 1995. And I'm like, 1995 was just the other day. uh, I was going to try to get her to let me show you, but I don't think she left it in here. Anita's working on your cups and she's having a little bit of trouble getting it to print clear or the color she wants. So she's still working on it. For anybody that's interested, Nita's doing really good since her gallbladder surgery. Tuesday will be 2 weeks ago because Tuesday she goes back to the doctor, and they haven't told her she could lift 25 pounds yet. Here's the cup. This is the one that she doesn't care for because it didn't come out real super clear. I think she's fixing to fight with the printer. Did you hear that? Sometimes when she has fights with the printer, I don't know if the printer knows it or not, but the printer will be leaving and something else will be taking its place. Yeah. But I thought it looked pretty good. It's not as dark as she wants it to be. It's a really light blue. Yeah. I know who them people are. Well, sort of. I don't know that one. That one there. I don't know him. The masked guy. Yeah. I was pretty excited when she made our cups, but I still don't have one. Gave them all away. I thought the same thing. Whenever you've got a cup that looks like this, it looks like it's been aged. It almost looks like there's a patina with it, doesn't it? I like it. It's not got any worn off spots yet. Yeah, I think I'm probably missing some comments here. Christine, I'm glad you're here. What's Johnny up to today? Is he hunting? There's Tony Walsh. Hey, Tony. Patina up. Patina's whenever something's green from age, and I don't think that's you at all. There's Joe Fix It for you, or Joe No Patience for you. I don't know which one are you tonight. And how's your lovely wife? Seen her pop in on Jesse and Lisa's live for just a little bit. Oh yeah, Johnny's. Has he had any luck? See anything? The deer here are beginning to know something's up, but the ones we see are doing stupid stuff. And the stupid stuff they're doing is I've actually seen two big doe standing in the middle of the road, and they usually don't do that. It's kind of like what a cow does when a cow's in heat. Hello, Piggy. Ginger's just as sweet as ever. What's she hurt you with now, Joe? Is she threatening you with something? Seen some, but not which one to harvest. I'm kind of the other way on that harvesting deer thing. I'm like, we have way too many of them here. Where my farm is at, the back end of my farm borders up to, for lack of a better word, Indian land. And it does all belong to one landowner, and she lives there, but she doesn't do anything with the land. And it's family land that I think they could trace back to the allotment days. And I could probably rent some of her place to farm, but it's been so long since it's had decent fence up around it. It'd be a real mess. But all the deer from here hide over there. And so it is a real mess. Hey, Joe, or hey, Dale, I'm glad you come in here. Hi, Tony. Yeah, deer are gone because of the fire. There's Jake Hudson. Hello, Jake. Let's see if I can keep up with the names here. Oh, time's up on the dryer, not on the live. There you go. There's Sean at Let's Trade Paint. Sean, how are you, buddy? Glad you're in here. What do y'all think about the time change? I want to hear some. You can be really opinionated in the comments tonight, but the first time we have any comments that need took out, I'll probably just end the live stream. And I'm well known for making an exit, so it could happen. You just never know when it may happen. Right, Trey? Right, Trey? Hello, Trey. Glad you're in here. And Angie. Twice on Jesse's live, I was wanting to start singing. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Rebecca. I don't mind. It messes with my body clock when they change the time. And I wouldn't think an hour would be that big of a deal, but I could just please leave it alone. Changing it twice a year is not in my it's not in my best health interest. I want to share something with y'all, and you can be praying for this guy too. One of my deacons is also children's minister at my church, and he messaged me a while ago that he was on the his way to the emergency room to get checked out. He's having shortness of breath and chest pains. His name is Matt. So tonight, please lift Matt up in your prayers. You guys just come right on in here and talk back and forth. That's great. I love it. I love it when we get a chance to where we can get together and chat this way. How's my sound? I'm just doing this on lap. I don't know why she turned the buzzer on that. Hey, honey, is it all right if I shut your buzzer off on your clothes? Excuse me. Our clothes dryer has the knob to turn it from the alarm to tell you when it goes off to off and on is also the one you have to push to start it. And quite often, nobody intends on turning that buzzer on, but when you push that, somehow it gets turned. Yep. Yeah, we've had a couple of showers move through here this evening, Dale. Appreciate you guys praying for Matt. Christine, are you missing some mail? Did you check the chicken coop? Have you guys gotten any rain down that way, Christine? I hope Tony's gotten enough rain that it'll wash that ash down and quit smelling like ash. There was a field fire about 4 miles from me while we were so dry, and you couldn't drive, and it had crossed the road, and you could not drive through there without smelling that ash, even if you had your windows up. It just stunk to high heaven. Really, really bad grass fire there. I'm behind on the chat again. Yeah, there was quite a bit of blessing going on in Jesse and Lisa's live, and I got to tell you, that's just part of this community that we're in. They are really giving people, and there's a lot that's catchy. I love how that's catchy. Whenever there's one in a group that decides to be really generous, it sure seems to rub off on everybody else. And I don't know about y'all, but I want to be a part of that. I want to be one of those people who's known for my generosity, because obviously I'm not going to be known for being able to keep my mouth shut. I'm kind of like that guy that got arrested and he started singing a song and they said, "Man, don't you know you got the right to be silent?" He said, "I might have the right, but I don't have the ability." Yes, you're right, Angie. This community is awesome. Yeah. I pray that you all get plenty of rain down there to get that all settled. The rain here where we're at has changed things considerably. And I'm kind of in a little pocket apparently that got right about 2.5 inches of rain. Mom said she dumped 2 6/10 out of their gauge. Dale up north of me there said he got like 1.5 inches, and my friend Fred down just south of Seneca said he only got 1.5 inches. So feeling really blessed. But our fescue grass has started growing again, and I'm not out of the woods, but I'm going to get some fall pasture here because of that. Some of the fescue had just turned white because it was so dry. Serena, I am in the very northeast corner of Oklahoma. I didn't know if you knew that. But yeah, there's several of us Okie folk here. Yeah, they've been predicting that. They was predicting for us here 4 to 6 inches of rain the last week of October and the first week of November, and now we've gotten a couple inches of rain, and then they're now forecasting 6 to 8 inches for this coming week. Hello, SSR. I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you're in here. Uh, yeah, I seen a question. Yeah, 6 to 10 inches would make me stay home from the woods for a while. Really, Tina? Don't even think they got an inch, huh? We got Sean down by Adair got 1.25 inches. Okay, an update on I actually the dude that took one of them, I'm convinced, has called me and messaged me a couple of times, and I've been calling him a couple days there. I called him about every 3 or 4 hours, and I think I wore him out. He won't answer now when I call him. And I talked to him really nice, like, hey, sweetheart, if you grow a spine and be a real man, you'd bring them 2 4-wheelers that you stole back. And I guess that ticked him off. He won't talk to me now. I don't know what the deal is. However, we found through a Facebook friend that messaged me, actually a friend of a friend. I didn't know this person at all. They said that a friend of theirs had seen this guy riding those 4-wheelers with another guy at a place called Ornogo up north of Joplin, and give us names. And so the guy that's the investigator over here, who, by the way, beat me in an election for the school board at Quapaw several years ago, he came out and took a statement, talked to me, and between me and him and this contact had figured out that that's in Jasper County. I haven't filed a report there, and I thought maybe I'd need to. And he said, no, we have a hand holding agreement with Jasper County. So he calls and talks to them, and it's kind of confusing because Ottawa County had a guy in their jail by the same name, and he'd been in their jail since Thursday, and so they had almost ruled him out. And I said, well, it's a very, very common name, so it's quite possible this could be, a real thing that he's in Jasper County. So he's talking with the people up at Jasper County, and they said, oh, that guy, yeah, we would really like to find where he's at. And nobody seems to know an address or anything. And all they can tell me is it's in Webb City. Well, Webb City School District takes in, I think it takes in all the way from Dunaweg to north of Ornogo. And so it's a great big spot over there. And I ain't heard anything for a couple, 3 days. So yeah, I think we would wear ourselves out trying to hunt for these two guys. I hope they come back, but the longer it goes, the less hope I've got. Oh, to add to that, Wednesday, Mom and Dad didn't have any water. And so they had called the pump people, and I just happened by there and was going to stop and visit with them a few minutes while I was doing my cow checking, and go inside. And Mom says, well, we don't have no water. I could get you something to drink, some water to drink. I'm like, that's okay. Did you call the pump people? Yeah. And so they came out while I was there, and I helped them. Mom and Dad have their well controls in their basement, and they have an old style drilled well set up. And when those guys came, they said, oh, you've got an old style. We'll have to have that updated because we're not even supposed to work on those. And we tested everything out as best we could, and my parents' memory might be a little bit short, but nobody could remember when it was that well pump had been pulled. And so we got down to we're going to have to pull the well. And so we pulled 260 feet of pipe out, and I helped them roll wire. And it was only two of them, and one of them was running the controls on the truck, and the other one was down in the hole. And so I pulled pipe and laid it out with them and helped them roll wire and everything, and got it all pulled out. And they're like, we've never even seen a pump with that name on it. So So it's been a long time, apparently. And they put them a new pump on there, and we got them water started again. Uh, and I was driving church van because Nita decided she still wasn't going to go to church on Wednesday, trying to make sure she's healed up good enough, not wanting to push it. And so I got in the house at 5 o'clock when I usually would leave at 5 o'clock if I had to go pick up kids for church. I got my shower took and went to church. I didn't get to put the top back on it and cover it up until after church. So I'm sure that'll be a cheap little, fix on a well. Not. I'm betting it'll be $1,000, $1,500 just to get them to come out and do that. But they got their water fixed back up and going, and that's good. Serena says she's from Norman. I'm very familiar with Norman. Been to Norman before myself. I did not go to Norman to school. Well, are you talking, Tina? Are you talking about hitmen or people who work in law enforcement? I'll tell you the one thing that surprised me whenever I put a Facebook post about them being stolen. 3 different commenters that I don't know all claimed that they each had a different person that went and looked for a stolen vehicle of theirs and got it back. And I'm like, well, I can do that kind of footwork myself, at least some of it, but Dale wants to go hunting. Dale, I don't want to get you, to where you have to get killed or something. So, and I don't want to get me in that shape either. I went hunting some leads down amongst some shady people. And when I do that, I make sure I have my 30-30 laying in my lap in the truck and don't get out of the truck. And I know several of you are going to know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you, they're the people who have teeth that are rotting out, and you don't know what they're capable of. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised that's not the kind of stuff that guy is involved in that I have been talking with. But he's a neighborhood kid. And y'all need to know a little particulars about this thing. They drove by, seen the 4-wheelers there, and went on down the road and parked. And at least 2 of them walked out in the pasture and found a cow trail and walked up that cow trail into the backyard. That kind of really bugs me. I appreciate you putting the word out, though, Tina. Yeah, I've heard all of that. That they run in a, ring, kind of. I thought I was going to get an address for the guy. The gal that tipped me off to the one's name seemed like she thought she could get an address, and then it kind of dried up. And I don't want to get anybody else into anything they don't want, a part of. I certainly don't want to get somebody else hurt over this. Mom, Dad's where he said it ain't worth getting hurt over. However, I don't take it very kindly when somebody does something that hurts one of my relatives. And if you want to know the truth, then 4-wheelers, one of them was my dad's legs. If he had to do anything out of the house that wasn't getting in a car and going somewhere, he'd get on that 4-wheeler. So I rode on the back of his or on the front of it many a time to get a ride from a hayfield to another one to move equipment. And then there's another thing. The one 4-wheeler, they didn't ever have a title for it. They had bought it at an auction, or their friend had bought it in an auction, but Dad had had the thing like 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I need somebody to keep up on the comments for me. Are you guys watching? I sure am proud that I got so many good moderators in here. If you look over there's Dale and Tina are moderating for me, and appreciate you guys. So did Did everybody have people who came and trick or treated their house, or what'd you guys do about that? I was hoping to be home here because my grandson, that's not quite two yet, was going to come by, and I missed him by that much. Had to go do church stuff. Scared? You ain't scared, huh? Well, I ain't either, especially not as long as I'm sitting in my truck with that gun in my lap. Yeah. Oh, I can do that, Tina. You want the name of my investigator too? Because ain't no telling. uh, mhm, mhm. Well, pew pew. Oh yeah, I've been saying that word, haven't I? My wind stick. How about that? Mm, yeah, they didn't want to ride. Trust me, they didn't want to ride. They already had one of them. They didn't want. They didn't want to ride. So yeah, Tony, what'd you do to wow Serena? That's what I want to know. Huh. Hole puncher. That's right. That's what I called it before, wasn't it? I like wind stick just as good. Well, quote it if you want to put. Hey, Bible scripture is welcome on my live anytime if you want to put that on there. Hmm. I'm not exactly sure the spelling on these names, too, Tina. But that's the two names I got. You should have them within a second. You're gonna make me look it up. Bluetooth hole puncher. That's right. Bluetooth hole puncher. I use Bluetooth strapping on my skid steer when I put it on the trailer, and I'm just going closer on here. Acts 17:26 says, He's made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on the face of the earth, and has determined their pre-appointed times and the boundaries of their dwellings, so that they should seek the Lord in hope that they might grope for him and find him, though he's not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as some of your poets even say. He's talking to those Athens people. I mean, he said, as some of your poets have said, we're his offspring. Therefore, since we're the offspring of God, we ought not to think of the divine nature is like gold or silver or stone or something shaped by art or man's devising. Truly, I love this. Truly, these times of ignorance God has overlooked, but now calls men everywhere to repent. Because he's appointed a day on which he will judge the world in righteousness by the man whom he has ordained, and given us assurance of this, of to all of these things by raising him from the dead. Yeah, well, he's the neighborhood boy of mine. I called the Newton County sheriff about the first name and didn't mention his folks, but I had been over there because he was just at their house riding my dad's bike. And I asked them if they knew where they could catch up with him at, because I believed that he might have my dad's bike, because he had texted me pictures of it before and after he painted it. And they didn't have to look him up. They just went over there and talked to his mom and his sister. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, I've known them for a long time. I hauled that boy to church with us for a while when I was pastoring at Peoria. And they live a mile from my house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everybody I'd mention that name to would say he's got a few screws loose. Well, I got to tell you what, there ain't a lot of people mind messing with me. There really ain't, Trey. They'll mess with me all the time. But when it comes to stealing somebody's stuff, oh, I've had some chainsaws stolen in the past. Matter of fact, I think I mentioned it. They broke in down here before I uh, built my house down here and had stole a big chainsaw of mine, a steel 660. They were $1,000 saw, and my other chainsaw was a steel 29 Super, I think. And they stole my welder and my cutting torch at the same time. And that was the one I was telling about, that big heavy torch cart that I had, and I had the tall bottles, and they were strapped on there with a 2-inch ratchet strap. And I thought, well, that's pretty secure. You'd have to have something to load it. And no, they picked it all up and put it in their truck, but I found the end off the ratchet strap where they had cut it. And so I'm thinking, I hope they got a hernia trying to load that cutting torch. But anyway, the guy that I think did that, the real disturbing part of it was they left tracks in the dust everywhere in the buildings. And they only went in the 2 buildings where my tools were and where the sawmill was, where they picked up my chainsaws. And the guy that I'm pretty sure did that several years later was selling me logs. And he cased out my neighbor's place and went in his house and took a bunch of stuff. And they caught him with it. When the deputies got to his house, he still had the stuff sitting on the back of his pickup. And he claimed somebody had put that on his truck after he drove home. But they had pictures on a game camera inside of that house of him picking that stuff up and carrying it out the door. And so he's a young man. He's not underage, but the judge once again puts an ankle bracelet on him and quarantines him to his mom and daddy's house. So you have to stay in your bedroom a while and do nothing for your punishment. And so what happens right after that is he comes by here and asks me if I'm buying logs. And I told him, no, I'm not buying your logs. He said, well, why not? I said, you break into the neighbor's house? He says, I never did any time for it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I looked in the back of his truck and I seen a chainsaw, the same description as mine, that had been stolen about 6 years before that. And I said, that's a nice chainsaw you've got there. And he picked it up and put it in the front floorboard of his pickup before he left. Yeah, we have VIN numbers for the one, the other one, no. But I got pictures of that with that guy standing right next to it. Say what? Look at there. There's lazy days ahead. They're going to school me on how to do a live, maybe. Can you give me any pointers on good things to talk about when I'm sitting here by myself, just watching y'all? Yeah, don't forget to fall back. Don't hit the back of your head, though. Oh, set your clocks back. Just set your clocks back. Your chat tonight, Jesse and Lisa, was moving so fast I could not keep up with it. Not even close. Play good jazz music. Okay. Yeah, that would be something they would say I could do. Yeah. Well, I don't know as much sign language as you do. This I could understand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I bet you'll get it ironed out next time. I was kind of thinking Trey would just jump on here, but I don't even know. Trey may be at work. There ain't no telling. Are you at home or work, Trey? Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. It's time change Saturday, and Jesse's dropping a big one like that. There ain't no link. There ain't no link. I'm on Facebook tonight. I just thought I'd come up and do this quick. I'm glad I did. I got to talk to some of you back and forth, and uh, I'm still unclear about the time, whether it's 9:27 or is it 8:27 or 10. I don't know. No. You're in the INS. I'm a dumb country boy, you know. I know what IRS is. It's 2127. That helps out so much, Tina. No, it doesn't. Don't you guys think Rainy Ridge has the coolest logo? I think they do. I think they do. I don't want to pull out all the stops or nothing, but has Eric got to cut anything on the sawmill? I haven't seen any videos about any of that yet. Mm-hmm. Huh. INS. Insurance? Immigration naturalization, sir. I've got some guys I'd like you to deport. I can't find them though. Hmm. Well, it may be 927. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. But be careful about getting any of that sawdust on you, because if it Emmanuel's naturalization service. There isn't. And it's amazing because it has but one narrow door to get into, and you can find it easily, and you can get in that narrow door. And so many people choose the wide way. It doesn't make any sense to me, Serena, but that's how it is. However, I learned this a long time ago. If you want to see a harvest for his kingdom, you got to learn to be a good seed spreader, because you never have the opportunity to see the harvest if you don't ever get any seed in the ground. And yeah, we need to be all about the seeding. If you want to get involved in the harvest is seen best from the side where we're doing the seeding, because you will eventually get some people to step forward into the harvest. We've had 4 baptisms at our church in the past month, and that's pretty good for us. Actually, I'm not sure that we didn't have 2 more than that wanted to get baptized that did not wasn't able to be there on either one of the Sundays when we had baptism. So, good night, Christine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off here and get some sleep for church tomorrow too. You think I'm getting up at 2 a.m. to change clocks? You have lost your ever loving mind, brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's really bad is if you lived in a household before when all the clocks were analog or digital that you had to change by hand, and you had 2 really dead set on clock changing. And then you would always wind up with at least 1 or 2 clocks that was 2 hours behind instead of 1 hour. That's right. The seed don't do all that much germinating when it's still in your hand. It's got to get out. Mm-hmm. Yep. Creekside Chronicles in the morning. I'll be putting out a Bible time sometime tomorrow afternoon. It usually is up right around 2:00. Dale goes, is yours live or pre-recorded? Tomorrow night at 6. There's somebody's comes right on right after Dale too. Who's right after Dale? Tomorrow evening. I don't know about awesome. Sometimes I come home and run through it. I don't know if y'all could tell I was preoccupied last week or not. They'll go six tomorrow evening live. And so you can catch some Bible there. Avid and Dyer is after that. Yep. Avid, Fisherman, and Jack Dyer Family Farm be after that. So if you want to catch up on some of your watch time, just go do that. I've been on here 40 minutes and I thought it might last 10 or 15. Apparently I can just sit here and talk to myself, but you guys have been good company. It's kind of a one-sided conversation. That's, I've told myself that somebody would tell me that we was getting awful dry and needing some rain. I looked at him and said, I can't control the things I'm not in control of. And I know the one who is in control of that. And trust me, he knows we needed rain too, because I've been telling him. I know a lot of y'all have been too. And if you haven't got any rain, I hope y'all do get some. I seen a short that Sean at Let's Trade Paint put out, and he's got a ceiling kind of like mine. My ceiling is sheet metal too. And I seen him looking up at that's all I seen was the ceiling, but I could hear the rain. I could hear the rain. You do? Let me see. No, I feel about like I normally feel. I've gotten used to being alone. I've spent many, many hundreds of, if not thousands of hours out on a tractor alone. So. But I'll tell you a funny story, and then I gotta go. Okay, is everybody good with that? If you're good with that, give me a smiley or wave at me or say howdy in the chat, and we'll do a story, and then we'll get off from here. IRS, Emmanuel's Redemption Service. Yeah, there you go. Trey, you're odd even on others. No, he's not. He just talks funny. You can hear his accent when he's typing. All right, I got the thumbs up over there, and the story would be good. You had a bad day. Okay, I'll tell you a story. This one's all on me. Many of you know some of my story. My dad worked at BF Goodrich in Miami, Oklahoma until they closed in 1985, and he chose not to move because he had some pretty deep roots here, and I really appreciate that choice. But then he had to deal with not having a job, and he liked to bale hay. He'd worked for several other people that baled hay, and he had some equipment of his own. And so we started baling hay for other people, and that turned into you do it every day of the summer unless it's just pouring down rain. And sometimes then you drive to wherever we were baling at and see for sure it was raining there. And so we did a lot of hay. Well, I have made hay on an island. You're going to think that's strange. Paul, you live over in Oklahoma. How in the world are you on an island? Well, in the middle of Spring River, just on the east side of Baxter Springs, Kansas, and on the north side of 166 Highway, the river has cut out an island. And the whole size of the island's something like 120 acres. And one guy owned about half of it. And believe it or not, even out on this island, there's old remnants of stuff that I never even knew existed. It had all been torn down except for little pieces of it like that. The guy that we bailed for on that island, his land on the island was divided in two by a trolley car bridge that was a rail service that at one time went from Pitcher, Oklahoma to Joplin, Missouri. And it was like they rode the rail to get to the mines where people worked at, I guess. And that bridge is still across the middle of that island. And It splits it in two. And so I was on the far north side of it, away from the highway, and on the other side of that bridge from everything. And you got to realize the city of Baxter Springs comes right down to the water's edge practically over there. And I'm on this loud tractor, and it had got way after dark, but they hadn't come to get me yet. I was mowing. We used a 756 International gas tractor to mow with back then, and you had to run it flat out to get it to power that mower. And so it was loud. And being way after dark in the summertime, it was probably getting on 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'd got all my out rounds done, so I was just going around the whole thing. And I was probably 13, maybe 14 years old, something like that. And I thought, they're going to leave me here long enough. I'm going to get this finished if I don't fall asleep while I'm mowing. And I looked up when I turned around one of those corners, and my lights shined across the field, and all I saw was eyeballs. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've kept the people of Baxter awake for a long time, and now they're going to come out here and lynch me. What in the world? I rode all the way around the field thinking, if it's them, they're going to be a lot closer this time. What am I going to do? I don't even know. I guess I could empty the toolbox and throw all my tools at them. What in the world am I going to do? When my light shined around the corner again on that side of the field, it was deer, 30 some deer out there in that field where I'm mowing had come out there. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for coming in. We'll talk at you later.